Okay, welcome back to White Brothers Music Repair Shop. We're taking the clamps off today on this nice Gibson C-1 Classical, 1970s most likely, indicated by the decal rosette. Can't read the serial number because part of the label's ripped off. But you can see the extensive clamping arrangement. These are special bridge clamps made specifically for this purpose. I had to use all of them on this one, 6 to get, it's a very long bridge to get equal pressure all across it. Of course, first we had to clean off all the old glue. Someone else had already tried to glue it once, but they didn't clean off the old glue. So they were gluing, instead of wood to wood, they were gluing glue to glue. It doesn't work too well. And try and relieve all the pressure equally at the same time so it can get adjusted to its non-clamped status. This was glued yesterday, by the way. Let it sit overnight at least 12 hours for maximum effect. And we used hot high glue as they looked like they did originally, although it was hard to tell. They used different glues throughout the years. But we know that the hot high glue works well and is a traditional glue to use. We also had to make a custom back plate like these here. There's a lot of different bracing patterns, and you have to have something on the back to clamp this to, otherwise it won't be flat and you'll be crushing the top. So since we had to make a new one for this, we'll mark that Gibson C-1 Classic. So we may have to use that another time, we'll see. And these of course are leather padded so they don't mar the wood. And you can see other ones, slightly different fan bracing. This one was from a Recording King. Their bracing is so wide that you put a flat piece there. And this is for a Fender 12 string. And a couple other that are just slightly different that we use. And we have little spots in the back for the clamp to fit in there nicely, so we know it's centered. Now we'll put all our clamps away, put all our braces away, and our brace clamps, the brace clamping jigs. Good, no rattles. Means everything's solid. We also glued a brace on the inside before we did this, and we've got some work to do on the back though. It was refinished kind of poorly, and then the finish was actually, it looks like they glued a crack here because there's a bunch of goop on the inside, some kind of Gorilla Glue that expands, not the right glue, and it looks like they added this black sunburst effect to cover up that repair. So that'll be our next step. Probably start with a micro mesh. This is about a 1200 or 1500. See if we can get some of that excess goop off of there. And this green color looks like that's under the lacquer, so that will probably not come off. But we'll smooth it down and buff it out and make it look as nice and shiny as possible. But just let that be a lesson. Repairing and refinishing guitars is not easy. Unless you've done a lot, it's easy to make it look worse and not fix it correctly. So, more work for me, but the guitars don't like it. Yeah, that's looking a little better already. A little smooth, and then we'll get a buffer and buff it out. Some really nasty stuff right there. Looks like it was in a car and it got really hot. This finish is crazed, also known as crackled. But this is going to be, yeah, look at all that coming off there. Alright, so main thing is bridge is done. And we will recut and reset the saddle as needed. Put some new springs on it. And let's finish cleaning up the old glue first. Got a little bit of excess. And as you can see, there's no overhang. It's right exactly where it was before. That's the tricky part. And before we did that, we always double check for intonation. Okay, it's 320, 321 millimeters to the 12th fret, so that should be 642, which is exactly what we have. Actually 643 on the bass, which is better. And 642 on the treble. Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us today. We'll get this fixed up, and this will probably be the last you see of it. Should have a nice sound though. Oh yeah, good tone.